I think it was a record. I don't think a company has ever lost that much money in one day in terms of market capitalization.
Oh, really? One company?
Yeah.
I know it was the worst day for Facebook ever.
Yeah.
But in terms of capitalization,
In terms of the market,
lost in one day.
Yeah.
And his own wealth probably.
Yeah.
Welcome, Brian. Did you
Hey.
find good parking lot?
Yeah, great parking right out front of the office.
For another episode with Ardi and Brian. What a week! What a crazy week!
Really
What
crazy.
happened? You tell us, Ardi.
I had one of my best trading week. It was a really good week, but in terms of overall in the market, it was absolutely insane.
You made $8,000 on a straddle on Facebook.
Today.
Today.
Yeah, we're recording it on Thursday.
So we're recording this on Thursday. Facebook or Meta was down 26%.
6%, yeah.
And that was crazy.
That was
because
insane.
it was the first time ever that the number of the active users actually didn't go up, but also went down a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is, there's only 7 billion people in this planet. 8 billion. How much they can do? I mean, really.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting into the, the marginal, the marginal returns, or, the next incremental amount of users has got to be dropping off, right? So, yeah, and Facebook has had some challenges anyway. They've had challenges with their privacy, and and you mentioned that they had some issues with Zuckerberg wanting control and not being able to pull forward ads and stuff like that. So
yeah, so I mean, for Bearable Traders last year, we spent a lot of money on Google Ads, but we never did anything on Facebook or Zuckerberg platforms because it's just so hard to convert people, to bring people, to introduce your program. When you're Instagram, when you click on the ad, it doesn't go out of the Instagram. It keeps you staying in Instagram.
There.
I mean, I was not, as an advertiser, I wasn't really big fan of him. I mean, he had a lot of users and data, and he still has, but as an advertiser, it wasn't a really good environment. But Google is way more powerful, or YouTube way more powerful in terms of ad revenue.
yeah, so no, there's no question he's got some issues going forward, and we'll see. He's pivoted, and he's gone to he's putting a lot of money and effort into the metaverse, and we'll see how that works out. I mean, it's probably a bit of a gamble, but yeah, we'll see.
I think at this point it's just, do you trust him as not as a CEO, but kind of as an executor? Can he execute on the meta? That's all it's about. Can he deliver? Because he's spending a lot of money. It was, what, 300? What was it? Some astronomical number.
$320 million.
Something
they lost
around there.
$320
Yeah.
million last quarter
on Meta, I think.
Meta,
Yeah.
The reality lab that they have. So Zuckerberg purchased Oculus for $1 billion. Was it 5-6 years ago?
Something like that. Yeah.
He had this idea for a very long time.
Yeah.
And it was just crazy. Facebook, coming down, took the whole market down with it, especially the technology sector. A lot of companies started setting up like a Snap. That was a sympathy play.
Twitter,
Thursday.
Yeah, Twitter, Snap,
Twitter,
Pins. I mean, anything related to sort of social media.
So it means that Wall Street said if Zuckerberg is screwed, then these ones are going to be.
Well, I think, the results that came out with Facebook, they just thought they would be emulated with the other companies. But, getting back to, to Artie and the markets, I mean, it's just been, I've never seen such a volatile earnings season myself in all the years I've been trading. It's just, and you can tell a lot of people are being taken by surprise, because you look at some of the moves that are making and the options pricing. I mean, they're going 2-3 standard deviations away from sort of measured moves that people are expecting. It's been insane. So, and lots of opportunity to make money. And look at tonight. I mean, Amazon's up, Snap came out with great numbers. It's up like 50-60%. It's just
Pins is up. Pinterest.
Yeah,
Who
Pins
would've
is
thought?
up. Yeah. So I mean, it's going to be another crazy day tomorrow.
So Snap up 60% after hours. This is the company that today was sold off because of the sympathy play, but now it's 60%. Adi, we saw this. I think we saw this meme. Is Apple responsible for drop of these companies in social media?
Yeah, actually, not disagree, but I think it's a good debate. You said Zuck is control freak. I think Apple is a control freak. With their privacy setting, they're costing billions of dollars. So if you go to the next slide, it kind of shows since the Apple privacy setting, how much money these big tech companies have lost in terms of revenue, potential revenue.
So Snap lost 20% revenue, Twitter 6%, Google a little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Pinch 8%.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, if anything, I think Apple is the control freak really building a monopoly here. I mean, it's great if you're in Apple. I mean, you're close to all-time high. Everyone else is at 50 moving average, 50-day
What was
moving
the
average.
privacy setting about? Do you know? Because I don't know the details.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know the details either, but yeah, certainly they're taking an advantage of the fact that they're big and powerful, and they can set policy without worry about competition, you know.
That's a good point that you mentioned.
So they're basically adding an extra step for you as an advertiser. You have to go to the setting and allow them to share the information with you with the Facebook.
Yeah.
So that little one-step barrier in an era where everyone,
Which is completely legal.
yeah, which is legal. Everyone attention span. No one's gonna go to the setting and allow. So that's gonna. I mean, the accuracy of the ads are not going to be as good. It's a pure power play between Apple and Facebook.
Very interesting, very interesting. So that meme that I had you put here is interesting. That Tim Cook is slowly killing everything. Now he's knocking on Meta.
And, the funny thing was the caption on this meme was Zuck, don't answer the door. You do not want to answer the door, Zuck. Yeah,
so there's another thing. Joe Weinstein in Twitter. Who is this Addy? He's a really good guy.
yeah, he's a journalist for Bloomberg. They have a podcast called Odd Lots. Fantastic. Fantastic.
Can you explain about this tweet?
Yeah, this article got leaked today. Apparently, this is from today's one of their meeting. Obviously, Facebook is in mayhem, and apparently Zuckerberg was wearing glasses all day today because his eyes were so bloody. Maybe because of lack of sleep. Maybe
Or crying.
who knows?
So he tweeted that he may tear up because of the scratches his eye.
Which is obviously obviously.
Yeah, it's funny.
That's crazy.
I mean, who knows if that's true or not, right? But yeah, certainly. I mean, it had to have been a pretty painful day for Zuckerberg to see, such a massive amount of value sort of leave his company. I think it was a record. I don't think a company has ever lost that much money in one day in terms of market capitalization.
Oh, really? One company? Yeah. I know it was the worst day for Facebook ever.
Yeah.
But in terms of capitalization,
in terms of the market,
lost in one day.
Yeah.
And his own wealth probably.
Yeah, 230 billion market cap, and then 30 billion of his own wealth got wiped out.
Wow.
In a day.
So.
Wow. Well, I don't want to be Zuckerberg.
It makes your loss look.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a couple of pennies.
Like Mark Zuckerberg and I lost $225 million today.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show you, Andrew, once a company is down, all the bad news will start leaking. Like with Piton, news after news after news was coming out. So, I mean, it's going to be a tough few months.
Yeah, for sure. It's not going to be something that's going to bounce back right away. I think Netflix was a bit of a different animal. It did, it did really get oversold, and of course you took advantage of that with your, with your Leap play, and that worked out quite well. So it would have been a good opportunity today to get back in those Leaps if you hadn't already.
I sold them. I think we still have another sell-off coming.
Yes, yeah.
So I'm waiting, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
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 But the Leap selling, you're looking at a longer time frame, so you've got to be willing to take, a bit of volatility, a bit of pullback, more pullback maybe, if you're looking longer term on a trade like that.
100%.
Yep.
I agree.
Zuckerberg, he might have issues with the growth of the users, but his platforms are free, so he can't charge even more.
Yeah.
But Amazon, he's going to increase the Prime membership.
Oh, really?
By quite a bit.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah.
And that increases the revenue just per user base. Because Amazon probably reaches to a point that you can't get more users, but you can charge them, jump up like per user.
I think it's going from 119 to 137. Don't quote me, but it's something like that. So it's not
wow.
like
For both new users and current members.
Yeah,
The new
yeah.
users is starting from February, the old members starting from March. So it's their known grandfather, the older members either.
don't quote me exactly
That's
on those
literally
numbers.
what Warren Buffett talks about, moat. Increasing $1
Yeah,
when you have
yeah.
so many users.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah, but you think Amazon's got to be feeling pretty confident that that whatever it's going to be, $20, something in that range, they got a feeling pretty confident that they're not going to lose a lot of their their customer base.
Yeah.
So, but again, they're like just like Apple, they're in a bit of a they're in a bit of an area where they have a competitive advantage over everyone
Yeah.
else, right?
100%.
Yeah.
So I do have the chart of Amazon. Amazon was really beaten up in the daily chart.
Yeah.
It was in the 52-week low, but really made a comeback today. And just as you see, this is an after hour. And if you can go to the after hour, you see as soon as the numbers came up, and part of a lot of they surprised $27 per. Earning per share, which people were expecting $3 in that range.
$4 in that range. Yeah.
$3.75, and then that's just amazing. And part of the income was because they were invested in Rivian, and when Rivian went public in November 2021, they had really massive things. And AWS grew as well, so 40% increase in AWS.
Yeah.
Now Meta, Goldman Sachs, Pfizer and Best Buy actually moving to AWS. So the more big companies are coming to AWS,
Oh, wow,
which
that's
is
fantastic.
which is definitely very important thing for
Hey,
Amazon.
I saw something on Twitter. I think it's a good discussion. Do you think Apple's at about 3 trillion, Amazon's about 1.6? Do you think in the next 10 years, which company is going to be more valuable? If you want to do a leap.
Yeah.
Well, don't ask me. I mean, I buy TNA at $100. They'll trade at 75 cents. So
I don't know. Apple's got that. They've got that moat. They just have such a big user base that, they've come out with some wearable stuff, and there'll certainly be more stuff. There's always been the rumor about the Apple Car. They've got a loyal sort of following base of people, and I'm sure. Just like Tesla, if Apple came out with a car, I'm sure there'd be a ton of orders of people who are avid Apple fans that want to get that Apple car, right? Whatever it looks like.
100%. Yeah.
Apple has, still the majority of revenue comes from iPhone, but they're really going towards services,
Yeah.
so they're not really a hardware company. So
Yeah.
and they've done an amazing job in reinventing themselves. So that's after hours trading for Amazon. What about the other big one was Snap? That's again on a daily chart, it was really, really beaten up. And as you see again from the numbers that I see, from $24 all the way up to $40.
Holy.
That's just unbelievable. And again, Snap was really, really beaten up. On a week, even on a weekly, it was really, really beaten up.
Yeah.
And now it's coming back up.
Do you think we're going to get a reversal going into next week? This momentum is going to continue?
I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. I mean, that goes into the thing that you mentioned, that what's going on. Ben Carlson tweeted that what's going on in the market. S&P 500 is down. Like, actually, we can go to our terminal. This is something that we're building for people. So for 1 year, you can actually see the numbers here. The SPY is up 14%, or year to date, if you want to say. The SPY is down 6%, Dow Jones 4%, Qs are 11%, and IWM 12% down.
Oh man!
And if you look at 1 year from today, IWM is down 10%, which is the growth of stock. Qs up 4%, Dow and SPY, they're really close to each other, always 12%. So that begs the question that Adi, you mentioned that S&P 500 in a minor correction. NASDAQ is in a full correction territory. If you own a small caps like me, you are in the bear market, really, from the highs. And if you own Facebook, it's
Like the crash of 1987.
Yeah.
it's the crash of 1987.
Yeah, the COVID
and if you own crypto crash, and if you own hyper growth stocks like Python,
You're in the Great Depression.
Fastly, AI,
the Great Depression.
PLTR.
PLCR.
Really good point, yeah.
Kathy Wood.
Yes, you would, yeah.
Yeah, I know that's a really, really good point. So another thing,
Spotify's earning.
Spotify earning. Is it already announced? How was that?
Yeah, I traded it this morning.
Yeah, that was
too.
today, or that was last night.
Yeah.
Spotify came out.
So 14% down right now.
Yeah, I think that they sold off quite a bit. They did kind of come back in the after hours. I looked at it as a possible day trade today. I didn't really like the way it was moving, so I passed on it. But you traded it maybe?
Yeah, I had an option play on it.
Oh, okay.
So I think the expected move was around 7%, 8%.
Yeah.
And I said I'll take my chances because too many controversies with Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
And I said there's gonna be some surprises. So I did a direction-less play.
Yeah.
So bought a call, bought a put.
Okay.
And then the put obviously went into money and
Yeah.
made some nice profit.
Nice. So your call expired worthless, but you
call
made
expired,
made
yeah.
up for it with the put. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very, very nice doji they have. Another one that's so what was the spot about the Joe?
Well, I think there's some concerns. He had a podcast, and and I think there was some. He was talking about the whole coronavirus thing, and there was a lot of stuff that he put out there that I don't think was entirely accurate.
But Joe, he was not a COVID denial, was he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
He was? Because
sort
at the
of.
beginning of the pandemic, I remember he brought a couple of scientists and he talked with them about, but I didn't watch the later ones.
So yeah, I think he put out a lot of sort of controversial. He had some controversial things about COVID that weren't particularly most people thought weren't particularly accurate. A lot of misinformation, and so yeah, some of the artists that were on Spotify took issue with it and pulled their support, I guess, or pulled their music off. So that's kind of where it's all sitting right now.
But is he still with the Spotify?
Well,
Joe?
I think Spotify's kind of backtracked on stuff, and they agreed to put up some things about I don't know how they word it, but possible misinformation or some things aren't accurate. So I guess they're trying to address the issue. But it's an issue that every social media platform seems to be struggling with, including Facebook and Twitter and everything else. It's
Except for Snap.
Yeah, it's
for teenagers.
Apparently, except for Snap, it's just pictures.
New pictures.
Yeah.
And in their earning, Ardi, you mentioned that the lack of transparency from the management, no annual guidance, no quarterly metric range, nothing.
Yeah, I mean the market. If you're a growth stocks, you're not profitable yet, and you're not hitting your growth metrics, or you're not putting proper guidance out, you're getting destroyed.
Yeah.
So no patience right now, especially because there's uncertainty. We don't know where the 10-year is going to be a year from now. So these discounting cash flow thing, people are not sure. So
yeah, so from a high of $385 all the way down to 164, definitely. I think they're back into pre-pandemic time. So definitely, there's a big issue here.
be a user, don't be a investor.
Exactly, yeah.
Look at that head and shoulders.
But I guess these guys eventually get into the same problem that, there's only a certain number of people on this planet that they have access to internet and recurring subscription.
And that freemium model is also terrible too. Let's be honest.
Yeah. What else do we have on the list to chat? Well, let's see. Jim Crammer. Jim, I love Jim. I actually met him in NYZ.
You have a picture with him?
I have a picture with him. I love this guy.
Yeah,
we should put the picture on later. And Jim Crammer is famous in Twitter that he's always wrong. So if you have an index that does the opposite of Jim Crammer, you're going to be beating all the markets. So Adi put this one, the CEOs, when the Jim Crammer says he likes their stock. Last Friday I went to his channel, and then he said that the run that we had on Friday, he said that it's like 1990s bear market. We always have the great strong
a bull market a bull run in the middle of a bear market. Yeah.
And the comments were really funny. The Wall Street Bet says, "Let's fucking go now." Crammer said the bear market.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a bull market.
Yeah.
So. And one of the famous ones that he has is, he was defending what was the investment bank that went bankrupt?
Bear Stearns.
Oh, Bear Stearns.
Yeah,
Or,
so he was
yeah.
saying that it has no problem, and then they went down 3 days after that. So it was
Yeah,
really
you
funny.
got that one wrong.
He got it's a hard job. He has to
Yeah.
come on the show every day.
Yeah, and come
make
up with
predictions.
yeah.
Who knows?
And I mean, I've seen some of his you know, his recommendations, and some of them are work. You know, I mean, you can't be always wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. It's a tough job to come out there and put your calls out there, and you know.
Yeah, I mean, even in the chat room, right? Every time I'm calling out a trade, there's pressure on me because what if people
Yeah.
follow me and they
Yeah.
lose money, right?
Yeah.
It's just
Oh yeah.
yeah. So it's a tough job. I feel bad for him. He's not the butt of all jokes. So
Well, yeah, but you know that's you know, I'm sure he's used to the abuse he get. I mean, anybody who's in the public eye is getting abuse on Twitter, no matter who you are, whether you're Taylor Swift or Jim Crammer.
Yeah, and especially, you know, a lot of people don't know what's going to happen. You know, that's the thing. Who would have expected that happens to Meta? I mean, or
Yeah.
Amazon, or
Yeah.
Google.
Well,
Google
you know,
also had a little bit,
well, a lot of people were wrong on that trade. You know, so yeah, he wasn't the only one. If he was thinking it was going to work out okay, so.
yeah, no one knows except one thing we know for sure. Tesla's going to 900.
Yeah.
and then he's selling
I
naked pools.
told you.
It's going
As long
to-
as it doesn't go over 1,000 tomorrow,
Why? Because you haven't put so
no, I have
sold
calls.
calls?
I've
Oh
sold
my
some calls up
God.
at 1,000.
We live on the edge.
You know, these options are very, very interesting. I'm not much of an option trader. I already hedged my position on TNA with options, but we had a member that is really happy. Can I say that? Not without name, but
Yeah.
that he made $6,000, $7,000 on a trade on Amazon. Yeah,
He made 6 figures, I think, so 100,000 or something.
over 100,000.
Yeah, that's true. To his defense, though, he was doing directionless trades. So he was basically betting on volatility, and
One way or another, yeah.
and he was using like Excel to calculate volatility. So it wasn't really, you know.
So how do you do that? What kind of straddles are?
So strangles, he was doing strangles. So out of the money calls, out of the money put. His thesis was VIX is elevated, volatility is up already, so I know we're gonna move above,
One way
one
or the
way
other.
above the range,
Yeah.
whatever it is. So it was a smart bet. He made a lot of money. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
I mean-
have this information in the education center for all of these options
Yeah,
trading?
tons.
So subscribers and YouTube viewers, you can go to our education center, have all of this education there with PowerPoint, with examples, live trades. So I highly recommend people to check that out.
The worst case scenario in doing a trade like that is you get, you know, sort of a muted response to earnings. You don't get any move one way or another. So, you know, Tesla is trading at 900 and it comes out with earnings, and you know they move like $10, which is what actually I think
What
it
actually
did.
happened, yeah.
So I mean, if you'd have bet, you know, taken a long put and a long call really out of the money, you would have been, you know, then you would have been
you lose
screwed.
everything, yeah.
Because both of those options would expire worthless if you didn't get any move. So that is the risk in taking a trade like that.
Want to go again for a lot of our traders? We're building a terminal that we have a lot of these informations that we discuss in there. Like for example, the normalized market performance that we discussed, like in the last 3 months, what happened into the sectors. IWM was down 15%, bounces back. The sector performance today. Communication services lost 7%. That sector was got.
And because Facebook is a very large holding in that particular ETF. I can't remember what percentage it is, but it's Facebook. I think Google's in there too. Yeah.
So from the last week, I mean, technology. I mean, obviously the bounces started from Friday. Technology was very strong. Real estate, all the way down to material and communication services. For the last month, the only thing that was strong was energy.
Yeah.
It's probably because of Ukraine, Russia, and also the.
I think
supply?
I think it's supply issues, and I mean, it just energy just had a really good run. Partly maybe inflation driven too, but yeah.
So the last 3 months, energy again.
Energy's been great.
everything else in the last 3 months were really down, including communication services and consumer discretionary. Year to date, energy is the only one that is up, and in the last year, energy, again, when you look at it, energy and financials were strong. Financials because of interest rate, huh?
Yeah. So you had the banks. It was interesting. You had the banks, but and then you had the sell-off in the whole market, and then the banks, everything sold off. But now financials has really started to bounce back now, which was a nice reverse. I kind of thought it was going to come back just because because interest rates are going up, and financials always do well in a rising interest rate environment.
And so the earning calendar. So we had really amazing names. This week, again, this is for part of Bearable Terminal that we're going to launch soon officially. It's still in a debugging mode and production. So we had all of these big names. Tomorrow we're going to have a couple of more names, and next week busy week next week too. Huh?
Yeah, mostly utilities, Coke, Pepsi.
Yeah, there's quite a few. There's Uber.
Yeah, we have Uber here. They're trading. CVS, Pfizer is reporting.
Chipotle.
Coin is reporting too. That's interesting. Yeah, so there's a lot of interesting ones. So later when we launch the terminal, you can actually see it's before market open or after market open, and then we're going to add more information in there as well. So definitely very exciting to see that. So stay tuned for that, guys. And we probably changed the the domain as well to Trading Terminal.
Yeah. Wow.
So when do you think we'll have that out? You have an idea?
I think probably in 2 weeks. Leo, when can we have Verbal Trader Terminal out? One of the developers.
Nothing like putting him on the spot.
Probably 2 weeks.
Okay, 2 weeks.
He said the same thing 2 weeks ago.
So hopefully, we'll look for it by the end of January for sure.
February, for sure. But definitely this is going to be a work in progress. We're going to add so many tabs in there, and we already have the all the fundamentals data in there, and then we're going to have the information about the ETFs and everything, all analyst recommendations. So every information that you might need as a retail trader, our motto is a professional tool for retail traders. So we're going to have all of this stuff here. So it will be exciting to really go through that. One section that we had, and it was really interesting, Ask a Trader.
Yeah.
And for the people who are actually watching this, we want to have this more regularly. I mean, this after hours with traders, but we might actually have more live streaming or more during the day as well. So tell us what you think, tell us what you want, and we just want to increase our production on that because I'm really enjoying it.
It's fun. Yeah.
So Ask a Trader. So Yin Yang is asking, Andrew, I used to do stocks, but now I'm switched into the options. Do you mind dropping a link where I can enhance my learning? Please, Adi probably has some live videos. Yes, so Yin Yang, options are very powerful. If the question is from me, in our education center, we have an option course that Adi has completely developed from the basics that what is called and puts, all the way up to sophisticated strategies, straddle, strangle, and day trading. And of course, if you are part of the chat room, Brian trades options live, Ardi has sessions during the week that trades live, and Jared has tons of information about things.
Yeah, my new book is going to have, it's got a couple of chapters in options, which is basically, there's my old book, but I've got my new book coming out probably in a couple months, and I've thrown a few chapters in there on options. They're kind of, it's just basic stuff. But in some very sort of more simple strategies, it's not intended to give you the whole story, but at least a good flavor and a way to start trading options. So
awesome, yeah. So this is the book How to Swing Trade by Brian. It's a bestseller. So guys, if you want to know about the swing trading and the strategies that Brian is using, Amazon, advertisement.
Yep, thank you.
We also appreciate the comments or review on our Amazon. It means a lot. Adi has a book. Do I have it here, Adi?
Yeah, it should be.
Right side.
Oh yeah, Adi has a book here. Stock Market: A Beginner's Guide to Investing and Trading, and of course I have my own book as well. Which
can you show the progress you made on your book from the earlier version?
So the first version was even smaller than this. This is the third edition. The first one was actually smaller than, but as I learn more and I became a better trader. I added more example, and now this is just this is the latest version.
That's crazy.
As it is thicker, and hopefully Adi is going to update that as well. And of course, we just published the Korean one. This is the same book, How to Day Trade for a Living, but in the Korean language. So it's already translated in 13 languages. So,
cool.
You know, it's just they did that. They sent me a couple of copies, but that was nice of them.
Yeah.
But again, that's advertisement.
Yeah, for all you Korean traders.
Korean traders.
Our Korean fan base.
Yeah.
The Squid Game. We all
Yeah.
So Robert is asking a question for Brian. Do you prefer UVXY over VIX to gauge short-term market volatility?
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about this. I mean, both of them sort of measure the same thing. I think UVXY is a little bit more blended for longer and shorter term, but and UVXY also is, I believe, is a beta ETF. So it's going to react more. So if you're really wanting to watch, you know, the nuances of what's going on in the market, you know, it's like watching with a bit of a magnifying glass. So I think I prefer to watch UVXY. It's fairly liquid, so that I don't have to worry about the thing jumping around, you know, minute to minute. It is fairly liquid, so that's the one I prefer to watch.
John McKenzie is asking, I struggle with picking time and sticking to a time frame intraday, from 1 minute to 3 minutes to 5 minutes to 15 minutes. What should I do? Should I use 3 minutes or should I just have multiple time frame?
I don't know. What do you think?
3 minutes, I've never seen anyone use 3 minutes.
No, it's usually 1 minute or 2 minute for your entries, and then 5 and 15 for trends. You know, people, and usually, you know, for you and I who like to trade right at the open, I mean, there isn't a whole lot of information in a 5 and 15. Other than the pre-market stuff, and that can be a little bit distortive. So, yeah, I mean, yeah.
So I think actually into the mentorship session today, which I recorded that, we discussed about that. You need multiple time frame. The answer to that is 100%. I would use 2 5-minute candlestick to get the direction of the trend, as you mentioned. So it's more like a overall strategy. And then I have 1 minute, which is more tactical time frame that try to pinpoint my entries and exits as a scalper. It can be. I know Brian is using 2 minutes and 5 minutes. Eamon, who's trading all day and catches more longer frame, he uses 15 minutes and 5 minutes.
Right.
Which is totally good, because in the longer time frames, you actually see the overall direction. So that's a very good question. It's up to you, but what you should do, in my opinion, is stick to it and don't change it. There's no magic time frame. You just have to, if you start with 2 and 5, or 1 and 5, or 5 or 15, just stick to it and develop your skill and trade book based on that. Don't just jump around. There is no magic time frame.
Yeah.
What's your time frame, Adi?
I use 5 minute, 1 minute, and then daily, because most of my trades are weekly options.
Yeah.
So I care about what's happening throughout the day, over a week. Yeah.
Question for Adi from Amir. I've been following Tesla and NVIDIA for a while now, and both are way off their 1,200 and 350 all-time high price. So they're far from their all-time price. Do they see more room to fall or upside? Especially Tesla breakdown from a psychological support point of 1,000, and NVIDIA has almost been cut into half. They were hyped, the stocks too similar to Python and Square, but on much more solid fundamentals. What's your? So the question is, Tesla and NVIDIA, are they going to go down? Or
We know the answer for Tesla. Tesla's going
900. For those of you who don't know the joke, Brian is always in the chat, says that.
He's at 900.
Yeah, I know.
He's actually at 900.
I know, I told you too.
So one thing is, the question is, just because they've dropped a lot from the highs, that doesn't mean that they cannot go lower.
Yeah.
Or that doesn't mean that they cannot bounce. And that's obviously one thing. That's a good part about traders is that you actually look at the price action, and whatever the chart says, that's going to happen. This NVIDIA can easily go up, make another all-time high, or like PayPal, which got destroyed, can go down. So we really shouldn't have the bias confirmation. I don't know. I mean, what do you think?
I think Tesla and NVIDIA, both, obviously both really good companies. They're generating cash and lots of good stuff coming down the pipe. Although I have to wonder about Elon's latest project with the robots. It's kind of he dropped the Cybertruck for robots apparently. But I think a lot of these stocks have really sold off just because they've been selling off because the market's been selling off, and people have been taking profits. So it's hard to read into how much this whole sell-off has been correlated to just market sell-off versus what the value was. The perceived value yesterday is different than the perceived value is today because of because the whole market evaluation has dropped. So, how far can they go down? How far can the market drop from here? I think that's, they're just going to get dragged down with the rest of the market.
One thing I'll just add to that, to Amir's question, is it depends on your time frame. If that market that every pullback is being bought back up and you can swing them really easily and make some easy money, that market is over. We're in a new market. If you have a 5-year, 10-year time frame, then these prices might be really cheap, but who knows, right?
Yeah.
So the time frame is important. But if you're swinging it for a week, don't buy pullbacks because you think it's going to go back up. This is a totally different market than 2020, 2021.
Yeah, that's a good point. The market internal has changed. Pullbacks are not being bought back
up. Yeah.
We were just talking about PayPal. How it just it's pulled back a lot, and if you kept buying pullbacks, you're just getting hurt over and over and over.
Over again. Yeah.
Yeah, PayPal is essentially back to previous to $120, $126 per share. So it's back in the pre-pandemic high.
Yeah, it filled that gap. Yeah,
it's very, very unfortunate for a company that was a pioneer in online transactions, and now it's going to happen to that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Hey, when will Ardi post the video? Would be awesome to see how you trade options.
Soon.
So Ardi has a lot of videos in our education center at Bearable Traders.
Yeah.
And you have 2-3 hours per week
in the chat
room, trading live, sharing a screen and everything. So if you are a member, that's it. But if you are not a member, Ardi is going to soon post more videos. Actually, he wants to increase his production more for the channel. So we're looking forward to that. Gurav is asking, I've been wondering how experienced traders make the right trades at the market open. I think 9:30 to 40 a.m. are the riskiest and unpredictable. Please advise how to predict upside. So 9:30 to 9:40 are the most volatile time, that's for sure. But predictability, I disagree that, you can find actually good patterns that are very consistent. They are riskier, but in terms that they're more difficult to manage the risk, so you can reduce your share size and make sure that if the trade goes against you really fast because of the nature of the volatility, so you don't lose a lot. So definitely reduce the share size. But if you wait usually for 3, 4, 5 minutes, definitely not more than 2 minutes. That's why Brian is using 2 minutes. Usually the volatility comes down at the open. The first 2 minutes, it's really volatile, and you can have actually more consistent patterns.
Yeah, there's a few things that I do prior to the open. We're going through our gappers list and we're looking at different stocks that are moving. And I really make a point of sort of locking down my watch list and the couple of stocks I'm going to focus on about 3 to 4 minutes, even 2 minutes before the market open. That's where I'm really starting to get sort of hyper-focused on a couple stocks. And sometimes that initial couple minutes before the open will give you kind of an idea of what's going to happen when the market opens. Like I think I've mentioned that this week with one stock. It might have been JD, but it was sort of holding, and then it just a couple minutes before the open, so you could start to see the selling pick up. And I thought, okay, this is going to be weak from the get-go. And so that's, and I shorted JD, and that was, and it worked out really well. But yeah, you have to be careful when you've got a stock market that's really gapping up strong or gapping down strong in the morning. You've got to be a little bit more cautious about jumping into a trade because the volatility is going to be higher. You might get initial moves that'll turn and reverse on you. So you kind of have to judge that too and decide, okay, this is a market today that I'm maybe going to sit on my hands for a minute. Yeah.
Market's not going anywhere.
No, market is not going anywhere, definitely. So today, Facebook in the pre-market, as you see, was really selling off. So stock was gapping down, and in the pre-market, they had the VWAP as well. and it was way below the VWAP. So, and then just a few minutes before the
Yeah.
open, as Brian mentioned,
Yeah.
you know, you look at it, it drops. So, you know, the weakness is in the nature of this stock. So it kind of gives you an idea what's going to happen. But, you know, yes, there is really good volatility in the first few,
Yeah.
3 minutes, and then eventually sold off, which we got that short together.
See, and that's like a classic rising devil trade. So you get the open, you get a little bit of, you know, people that have gotten short maybe in the pre-market, maybe a few bargain hunters jump in, they drive the stock price up, and usually right away, you know, in a stock that's weak like that, eventually the sellers just overwhelm the buyers and just drive the stock lower, and that's a classic rising devil trade that we talk about in the room.
We had so many other stuff to discuss, like ARK and so many memes, but unfortunately, we just don't have a lot of time.
We can make a guess about what's going to happen tomorrow. We obviously have some really good earnings after hours here, and so I think, you know, obviously the market's going to be up again tomorrow. It's just crazy, and market's up, market's down, market's up again. So yeah, and it's going to continue. I'm sure next week we're going to see more volatility, and it's going to be interesting. Lots of option trading opportunities.
Yes, you know, yeah.
The futures are up, so it implies
Yeah.
a, you know, green open tomorrow
for sure,
all
yeah.
the sectors. Obviously, Amazon gave another blood
Yeah.
to the market that no,
market,
the war isn't ending.
No.
You know that you
Yet.
can have. Yeah, yet. So yeah, so thank you so much, guys. So don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like our videos, because that's how our channel would grow. Thank you so much for your support. Let us know what you think. Let us know what kind of discussions you want to see more. We want to have more of these discussions more frequently. Maybe during the market open, look at the charts, not at the recap. You know, after the trading that Brian and I are having, you know, we come and sit down together and have more. So yeah, help us to expand this channel, and yeah, we're looking forward to really creating more materials for you. And stay tuned for our bear bull terminal.
Yeah. Looking forward to seeing that and being able to use it. I think it's going to be a very powerful tool.
All right, excited. Let's go.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much, guys.
Thank you,
Awesome.
everybody.